presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Ohio.
The Indians have a chance to win their third straight home series against the Central Division today as Trevor Bauer goes to the hill. The right-hander has been spectacular in his last two starts, stating his case to remain in the rotation when Carlos Carrasco returns from the DL. It's a perfect day for baseball, as it was 35 years ago. And we've got it all next on Sports Time Ohio. Downtown Cleveland Progressive Field, the marathon is over. Baseball about to begin as the Indians try to take 2 out of 3 from the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We're not sure where spring went, but this is definitely not spring. It's very cold as we get ready for our first pitch here this afternoon. And Rick, the Minnesota Twins, for whatever reason, have posed quite a problem for the Tribe. Going back to a year ago, Indians have lost 10 out of 13 in Minnesota. What gives here?
Well, when you look at Minnesota's offense against everybody else in the Central Division, they're not able to score. Less than 2 runs per ball game. That's why they're 0-12. But you look at the Indians, they've hit 8 home runs. They're averaging over 5 runs a ball game. And the pitching is basically the same. So for whatever reason, I don't know, it's because we play them so much that the Twins just feel comfortable against Indians pitching.
Well, hopefully Trevor Bauer can turn that around today for Cleveland. And Rick, ever since he left the bullpen, he's been getting better and better with each and every start. Last time out against Houston, retired 10 out of his last 13 that he faced.
I think it's a little incentive for Trevor Bauer. He used his fastball much better, and he's working in his changeup to go with that good curveball he has. He got some very big outs in the last game, went 7 innings, didn't allow a run. Trevor Bauer was very solid, and you can see 3-0 with a 386 earned run average. He'll be matched up against right-hander Tyler Duffy, who is looking for his first win. His ERA is fine, but in his career against the Indians in 2 starts, a 146 ERA, and he is 1-0.
We'll see if the Indians can solve Tyler Duffy and get this series in the win column for the Tribe. When we come back, Andre Knott will join us to talk about the Jimenez effect with Trevor Bauer on the hill once again here today. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. All right, back here at Progressive Field on a cool, cloudy afternoon. Indians-Twins wrapping things up. And for the Indians, Trevor Bauer on the hill. And behind the plate will be Chris Jimenez, and those two have formed quite a working relationship. With more on that, let's go down to Andre Knott.
First of all, I thought there was a kickoff coming at 1:10 today with the weather that we have, guys. You know, you talk about the battery of Trevor Bauer and Chris Jimenez, and they've worked together only 2 starts so far. For Bauer, it's been 2 of his best starts of the season, and Jimenez just tries to make this really simple. He simplifies what he wants Trevor to do, and Trevor has trusted him so far, and it's been fun to watch. I talked to Terry Francona this morning about the combination, and he says really, you know, when he has a backup catcher, he wants someone that can really put all their time into that one guy that they're catching per week, and he's appreciated that Chris has taken the time out to get to know Trevor very well. And literally, over the last 2 starts, it's been a lot of fastballs, a lot of 2-seam, 4-seams, and then the curveball and changeup has worked very well for Trevor. So hopefully he can have another great outing with Chris Jimenez behind the plate for him.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said, Rick, for I don't know if it's a trust factor, if it's a comfort level, but when a pitcher gets in step with his catcher, then it alleviates having to think, having to wonder. You just put the fingers down, okay, and rock and roll.
Well, it looked like it in his last start when we talked about a number of times in Houston where he just seemed to work a lot quicker with Jimenez, you know, than shaking off. And, you know, when he did shake off, it was quickly. He got through it, no, and then he got back into his rhythm. But for whatever reason, we'll see if it continues today. Let's hope so. But he's staying with more fastballs, and I think he's really working that changeup in.
This isn't anything new. This has happened. This has been around a long time. I think back to who was it in Atlanta? Eddie Perez was the personal catcher for Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
In your day, when you think back, was there ever a combination that you can remember where just a particular pitcher worked well with a catcher and the manager kind of kept those two together on the same schedule?
Not on our teams, but I mean, I saw it on other teams. It was McCarver for Carlton. Yeah. You know, it went on like that. And for a few teams, it was like that. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe they were on the same page. They just got along together. You know, it's hard to tell, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter. When you get a guy, and some pitchers are different, you know, everybody's different on their day. And Trevor Bauer's a different kind of guy, and you know he seems right now to click with Jimenez, and it's strange because Jimenez got here because of an injury, and came from another organization, and so I don't know what the trust factor is there, to be honest with you.
But he's got a little bit of a pass with Bauer, and he talked about it. You know, a few years ago in spring training, he had a chance to work with him, so at least it's not cold. He wasn't coming in having to learn everything about the guy right off the bat. And you know, I just think too, for a manager, trying to get your backup catcher at bats can be difficult. So if you've got him sort of on a regular turn, that makes it easier as well. So here come the Indians as they take the field here this afternoon to take on the Minnesota Twins. And with that, we'll get a look at Paul Molitor's starting lineup for Minnesota. They're swinging the bats well coming in here this afternoon. Joe Mauer going to lead it off. Eduardo Nunez going to bat second. Nunez, the shortstop, with a home run in the series. Miguel Sano, he's 3 for 9 with a home run. Young-Ho Park has 2 dingers. He's batting cleanup. Then it's Oswaldo Arcia, Jorge Polanco, Eddie Rosario, Juan Centeno, and Danny Santana will bat 9th.
And Trevor Bauer's our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher today for the Tribe, and he's making his 4th start this year, his 10th appearance. And in his last start, we told you in Houston, he was on a nice roll. A very good start, 7 shutout innings, retiring 10 of his final 13 batters he faced. He had nice control, worked in a lot of pitches, got some very tough outs when needed. And, you know, he did a great job. So we'll see if he can back that up today. He's making the start against Minnesota, 1-3 in his career. This will be his first start against him this year. So let's hope that Trevor can get back on the winning page and the Indians have an opportunity to win this series. We'll set the defense behind Bauer this afternoon, brought to you by Jeep. It looks like this. It'll be Ramirez in left field, Naquin in center. Martinez gets the start over and right today, just getting called up. Uribe at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis is at second, Santana at first, Jimenez doing the catching.
Sean Barber has the plate today. Will Little at first, crew chief Ted Barrett down at second, Angel Hernandez at third. Indians roll in 17-16 on the year, 5 games out. In the AL Central, they currently reside in second place, a game and a half in front of third place Kansas City. Twins, dead last in the division, 14 games out, 9 up, 26 down on the year. So for the Indians, as disappointing as yesterday was, a win today could have them feeling a whole lot better about things if they can take the series, get back to that 2 games over the 500 mark, which has been where they've sort of resided, between there and around 500, maybe a game below.
Yeah, that's a high water mark. Yeah, 2 games over.
Cincinnati comes in tomorrow night. 2 games here, then 2 games in Cincinnati, as the Indians will embark on a lengthy road trip, 3 cities. We're underway as Trevor Bauer delivers high ball 1 to Joe Mauer. .45 degrees, our game time temperature, with a pretty good breeze.
Spring day
of about 20 miles an hour blowing from the left field foul pole out toward right center. Well, 3-0 to start here. And a strike called. Bauer swings at the 3-1 pitch, and backpedaling Ramirez in left field. He'll make the catch, 1 away. Keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Just talked about Trevor Bauer and Chris Gimenez, their pacing, how he works. We'll keep an eye on that. And the Indians' left-handed bats against Tyler Duffy will be key here this afternoon. Eduardo Nunez looks at a pitch up high, ball 1. Nunez, over his last 22 games, is batting .318. More importantly, he's got 6 doubles, a triple, a couple of homers. He's driven in a dozen and scored 14, so he has been a difference maker. Even though the Twins have been struggling, he's been one guy that...
These guys, I see them all with glasses on. I'm thinking to myself, where's the sun?
Well, it was out about 5 minutes ago, but it quickly disappeared. And Bauer just threw it by him. 1-2. Slow breaking ball, but it bounced in front of the plate. Nunez leading the Twins in batting average. Boy, just missing. Full count.
Well, behind Mauer 3-0. Now another 3-ball count here to Nunez.
And a little low, ball 4. And a base runner with 1 out in the first.
Batting third for Minnesota, number 22.
Miguel Sano is a .234 hitter in terms of average, but in this series, 3 out of 9 with a home run.
You know, this is the Twins team. You talk about them, and we showed you in the open their offense. It must be that they're familiar with the Tribe pitching, because they're averaging over 5 runs a game in the 5 games that they played. They've won 2 series this year, one against the Angels out in LA, and they won the one against the Indians back in Minnesota. And this is the rubber game this afternoon of this series.
Big chopper to third base. Uribe goes to second for one on the first. A double play ends the inning, and Bauer knew it the minute Uribe grabbed it at third. He was already headed to the dugout. They go around the horn to end the top half of the first. The Indians are coming to bat. Day presented by Progressive. Carlos Santana will lead it off. Jason Kipnis batting second. Francisco Lindor will hit third. Then it's Mike Napoli, Jose Ramirez, Juan Uribe. Tyler Naquin has a couple of hits and 2 runs scored in the series. Chris Jimenez and Michael Martinez both getting their first start in the series.
And today's Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher Tyler Duffy looking for his first win this year. He started in Double-A last year, ended up getting called up in August 5th. Toronto was his first start, but he earned his first major league win against the Indians. August 15th, pitching 6 shutout innings with 1 hit, 5 walks. He had 7 strikeouts, but carried a no-hitter into the 6th inning. That was in Minnesota. He made 1 start here, gave up a couple of runs, and had a no decision.
And Tyler Duffy's first pitch. Right down the slot to Carlos Santana, down around the knees.
Duffy with a good curveball. Could be the equalizer. We'll see when he gets ahead if he uses it to the left-handed hitters.
Way outside. And the count 2-1. Low fastball missing. And that fastball hit high in the air. Center field, Santana back and shy of the warning track. Makes the catch for out number 1.
Let's set the defense behind Duffy this afternoon for the Twins. It'll be Rosario in left field, Santana in center, Arcia over in right. Sanoa's at third, Nunez at short, Polanco at second, Park is at first, Centeno is behind the plate.
Jason Kipnis.
Looks like both pitchers, you know, after taking the mound in that first inning, trying to get a feel for the mound, for the conditions.
Well, it's one thing when it's cold like this, but then you get that the breeze, the way it's blowing, everything's
wind,
dry. You can't get any grip.
The baseball is slick, you can see, and maybe that's one reason why they're falling behind the hitters early. Not that good feel yet.
No, Duffy, I mean, his best pitch is his curveball. And if you can't really get the good feel for that early on, will that be a factor? The 3-1. Kipnis takes a strike. Jason hitless yesterday in the middle game of the series. Last May, he went 4 times in the entire month without a hit in a ball game. And he strikes out here, 2 down.
Batting third for the Tribe.
Let's go down to Andre with more on Twins starter Tyler Duffy.
I'm talking to a few of the hitters. They said the thing about Tyler Duffy's curveball is sometimes it has that tilt where it goes, from 12 to 6, and sometimes it can almost slide across like a slurve. They said you got to pick it up early because sometimes it'll go away from you if you're a righty, or it comes into you as a lefty, or it can come from the top to the bottom. So it's got a lot of movement to that curveball.
Now Francisco Lindor. And that's called a strike over the outside edge. And lost the bat. I mean, the ball.
Oh, nice catch by the bad boy over on their side. He one-handed the bat coming off the screen. Watch the bat go flying, hits the netting. And here comes the bad boy right at the bottom part of your screen. He just grabbed that bat and brings it right over to Frankie. Nice save.
That's Brandon Kanke's son.
Is it? I was going to say, where'd Willie get him? He's got good hands.
Connor Kanke. Up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lindor spits on that pitch down in the dirt. He's batting .452 in his last 13 games here at Progressive Field. Feeling pretty good against Minnesota pitching. Need a few more guys to get in tune. The 2-2 outside on a full count.
Yeah, you can see he's still trying to get a feel for that breaking ball. One before that down and in. That one was up and away.
Two-out walk. And Lindor aboard for Mike Napoli.
Hitting fourth for the Indians. Number 26, the designated hitter, Mike Napoli.
Quick to home plate if you're thinking of taking off and running. That was he didn't lift that front leg up very high at all. Delivered it, I would say, just a hair over 1 second.
Missed up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 just outside. Napoli showing a good eye at the plate. Nothing new or surprising there. And a foul right back. Napoli, the very best in baseball in terms of pitches per plate appearance. This will be the 5th, and he's averaging almost 5 every time he goes to the plate. Now, some might look at that and say, well, maybe he takes too many pitches. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think more than anything, Rick, he fouls a lot of pitches off. Maybe some of those are those borderline high fastballs that he tries to get on top of.
Yeah, he's, we've seen him down on the count 0-2, and a lot of times he works it back to 3-2, and he does foul a lot of pitches off. There's pitches that he has that are very hittable that he fouls off. But that's been his nature since he's been in the big leagues.
Lindor goes on the 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air to center field, but back is Santana. And right in front of the warning track, pulls it down. After one, no score between the Indians and the Twins.
.com @bat app. Stay connected all season with radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Second inning here in Cleveland, and Young-Ho Park will lead off for Minnesota. And Park takes a strike. Park, very good power. And in addition to having good power, which is a big part of hitting home runs, his ability, and we've already seen it, to manipulate the barrel and get it to the ball.
Yeah, he brought his hands in game 1 of this series and hit one out of here off Josh Tomlin.
I mean, we've seen a lot of home run hitters over the years who just kind of have one swing plane, and if you make a mistake in there, they'll hit it. But he might be able to be a guy that can hurt you a number of different ways.
You know, you think about that. He doesn't even know the people here. He's seeing,
right.
Pitchers for the very first time. He's seeing ballparks and everything. It's all new to him. So I would think once he settles in and second time around, he will make a lot of adjustments.
Hard down the third baseline and fair ball.
And there's one right there.
Ramirez will play it off the sidewall. And into second base with a leadoff double is Young-Ho Park, his 4th hit in the series.
They're going to try and go inside. They wanted it away. That ball leaked on the inside part of the plate. You see where Jimenez was sitting away. The two-seamer leaks in and hits it right over the bag at third base. He will have his 5th double of the year, and it's the first hit of the ball game.
And that will bring up Oswaldo Arcia. And Arcia is batting just .239 with 4 homers and a dozen driven in. No other extra base hits outside of the 4 homers. so far on the road this year. Arcia just 5 out of 26. And the count evens at 1-1.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think he feels pretty comfortable. 4 out of his 5 hits have left the ballpark.
And Bauer spins him out of the way.
That's that little comeback fastball. That wasn't as inside as he made it look jumping back. That ball came back nicely. A little two-seamer he was throwing a lot in his last start to both sides of the plate.
Yeah, and Arcia just waves at it 2-2.
Yeah, that one took off.
That's the old, the hitter starts after it, halfway through wants to stop, but can't do it.
And that ball just kept running away. Take a look at it. 92-mile-an-hour two-seamer on our Nissan pitch tracker.
Tied him up. Good fastball. Strikes him out. 1 away.
Batting 6 for Minnesota. The second baseman, number
Well, look at that comeback. That one he started in. That's the one he wanted before. That'll be our Circle K strikeout. Good pitch, and that's the 4th time that Bauer's been able to get to Arcia. As far as the strikeout goes, it's been all or nothing for him against Bauer.
In just over 29 innings of work now, Bauer 30 strikeouts, 13 walks. And he'll face Jorge Polanco now. Polanco getting his first action in the series. He just got called up 8 days ago when they were playing in Chicago against the White Sox. But it's already his 3rd stint of the year with Minnesota. And Bauer evens the count. This guy was having a really good year at AAA already. He had hit in all but 3 games played for the Rochester Red Wings. I guess you look at him, even though we haven't seen much of him, he's only 22 years old, Rick, but he's already played 530 career minor league games.
Yeah, well, they signed him early. Probably signed when he was 16.
Ground ball to first base, and Santana has it cleanly. Carlos takes it to the bag himself, 2 away. Our player profile brought to you as always by Levin Furniture. Trevor Bauer, the 3rd overall selection 5 years ago by the Arizona Diamondbacks, and 1 year after that he was involved in that 3-team 9-player deal. You go to spring training this year and everybody just sort of, I think, had Trevor penciled into one of those spots in the rotation. That didn't work out that way for him. He went to the bullpen. But as you know, we've talked about this many times before, so much focus and attention and energy is spent on who's going to be where in spring training, and you get 2 weeks into the season and all it takes is one injury to set the dominoes of falling.
Well, I really think that demotion is sending him to the bullpen is still eating at him, and he wants to prove that he belongs in the rotation. We can talk maybe Jimenez behind the plate. I think Trevor Bauer just wants to prove he's a starter, and he doesn't belong, and nor does he want to go back to the bullpen because he didn't have a bad spring.
A 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball pulled foul.
And since he's been in here, they've been trying to get him to throw that fastball for the last couple of years, more so than what he was doing. And we see now in his last start and early in this game, he's throwing fastball by hitters.
Rick, I don't even know if it was so much that he didn't have the confidence in the fastball, but it seemed like early in his career here, he was always throwing that fastball uphill. It was high, it was out of the strike zone. He couldn't command it. And so it would get him behind in counts. And he had more success throwing his off-speed pitches for strikes.
That's true.
So whether it was a mechanical adjustment or just believing in that fastball and really being able
that's
to locate
the number
it.
one thing. To throw your fastball, you have to command it, especially at this level. But he was one young pitcher that was, you're right, that was able to throw off-speed pitches when behind in the count. That's what kept him around.
Usually it's the other way around for a young pitcher.
Right. They can throw their fastball for strikes. They can't. Yeah, they have a tough time with their off-speed stuff.
But Trevor's the kind of guy, he leaves no stone unturned in terms of figuring things out, mechanically making adjustments. And that's a base hit in the right field, a 2-out RBI hit for Eddie Rosario, and Minnesota will take a 1-0 lead.
Well, they got that guy on, had a chance to leave him stranded, but it looks like a changeup here, and he's been using this pitch a lot. Rosario able to keep his hands back. You see, he kept him back enough, and he pulls that ball in the hole. Gets a big 2-out base hit, and Minnesota draws first blood. Makes it a 1-0 ball game.
Well, and Rosario, one of the reasons why the Twins have had success against the Indians. He's hit in 9 straight against Cleveland. And in that 9-game hitting streak, 6 runs batted in now. Juan Centeno. Centeno with his first home run yesterday, and it was a 2-run shot off Corey Kluber that put the Twins in front 2-1, and a lead they would not relinquish.
Well, they came right back after the Indians had just taken the lead in their half of the inning, and they came right back, and Kluber gave up the home run to this guy's little 2-seam fastball, his front hip that leaked out over the plate, and he was quick on and hit it out of here.
Might have another hit right here. That's going to get down. It's going to go to the wall, and the Twins are going to be up 2-0. All the way around the score from first base is Eddie Rosario, and Juan Centeno is having himself quite a series against the Indians. He's now 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a home run, and Minnesota's up 2-0 on back-to-back 2-out RBI hits.
Batting 9 for Minnesota, the center fielder.
Best hit in baseball. You see that ball elevated, belt high. 2-seamer, and he found the gap, so he gets on that fastball. I'll tell you one thing, he can hit the fastball. He got one yesterday, gets another one today into the gap. Watch it leak out over the plate. And that was belt high, and he got it into the gap in right center field. His second double, give him his 3rd RBI. It's 2-0.
Danny Santana takes a strike.
For Tyler Duffy, he's probably happy because in every start that he's made, although this is only his 4th, they were only able to put 1 run on the board in all 3 games. Well, they have 2 for him early here in this one.
Two quick strikes on Santana. The feet of Santana, good stop there by Jimenez. I just told you Juan Centeno has had good numbers against the Indians. A number of these guys have, and Danny Santana is no exception. Arcia in the driver's seat, 10 out of 21. Breaking ball strikes him out looking. But Minnesota grabs the early lead. The toughest hit in baseball is the 2-out RBI hit. Minnesota doubles their money and lead it 2-0.
Carrasco jersey Tuesday when the Indians take on the Cincinnati Reds. Courtesy of Shears. Come get that jersey. You can visit Indians.com for your tickets.
Monday, Tuesday, Indians Reds here. Wednesday, Thursday, they'll meet down in Cincinnati. Jose Ramirez, 2 out of 6 in the series. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick in the Central Division. Jose Ramirez has done some damage already this year. He's also been one of the Indians' best hitters in the clutch. Shoots that one at the third baseman, Sano. One away.
I'm going to send along very happy birthday wish to one of our own down working today. Mike Pacta celebrating his birthday. Mike, happy birthday, my friend. He'll be approaching senior status here soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What is senior status technically?
Well, it all depends. It's over 50.
Okay.
But he's not 50. He was 11 when, I think he was 11 years old when Barker pitched his perfect game.
35 years ago today.
Let's not come on, let's go. We'll give away his age.
46. Okay, gotcha.
Maybe he might have been 7. I don't know. Just a guess. Happy birthday, Mike.
Uribe sends one sky high on the infield. Third baseman Miguel Sano in, called off by Nunez. And there are 2 down. Nunez, you could see him telling Sano, I've got everything. You take everything from that point over.
Well,
I'll take everything from this way over.
You know, Sano wanted to catch. He's been playing the outfield, so when the ball goes in the air, he's used to catching fly balls.
He
They
should
call
have
him
just
off.
looked at him and said, look, I'm bigger than you. I'll catch it. You get out of the way.
Yeah, well,
I'll squash you like a bug.
I would get out of the way if he wouldn't move.
Tyler Naquin. Naquin reached base 3 out of 4 times up yesterday. Two of his 4 multi-hit games now in his young career have come against Minnesota. Smashed right at the shortstop, knocks Nunez to the seat of his pants, but he still makes the play, and the inning is over. The Indians go 1-2-3 as Nunez throws out Naquin while sitting on his duff. As we head to the third, yesterday the Twins snapped an 8-game losing streak. They had 4 players with multi-hit games. There are different theories on what it takes to snap out of a losing streak. Some people think that, you know, it's usually one big game where everybody breaks out. Usually it doesn't happen that way. Usually it's a kind of a close, you got to grind it out kind of a win.
We used to say you want to stop a streak, either pitch a shutout or you have a team party where you score 10 runs, and that's usually pretty good.
They didn't score a ton of runs, but they had a lot of guys get a bunch of hits. And yesterday was just one of those days. Not a lot of fun to be at the yard.
Yeah, got that sun coming out today. Now, wait around 5 minutes.
Joe Mauer lines one to center field, and Naquin with a good beat on it makes the play.
Well, you want to talk about a ball being hit right on the nose. There it was. Naquin hit it right at Nunez at short, and he just decided to throw the one hopper. That's like a Francisco Lindor play we watched him earlier in the year.
Except when Lindor got knocked to the ground, I think it was Miguel Cabrera. He got flipped over onto his back and had to.
Yeah.
A little higher degree of difficulty. Both plays pretty well done though by the respective shortstops. Eduardo Nunez will walk his first time up. Pops this back into the seats. Down by Andre. He'll pick it up eventually. High pop.
That should stay in play.
Here comes Santana, Jimenez. They converge, and Chris makes the play right in front of Carlos for out number 2. I mean, look at how far Jimenez had to go to get that ball from the crouch position. That's impressive.
And you know what? And you're looking up into the sun, too. So that's a very tough play for a catcher. You know, when you see it go up, he got a good read on it. He knows it's going over there. Takes that mask off. He looks like he's wearing the glasses. You can see that glove come up. If Santana could have got there, it would have been an easier play for him, but I don't think he would have got there.
2 down now for Miguel Sano. Right by him. Coming into today, I know we're only halfway through the month of May, but it's surprising to me that the Indians are one of only 6 teams in the American League with a winning record. Good breaking ball, rung him up, and Sano says, take my bat, take my helmet, take my gloves. Can't do anything with that. Minnesota goes 1-2-3 for the first time today. Bauer has 3 Ks, but the Twins have a 2-0 lead. Enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. And there's the big curveball from Tyler Duffy. And when he throws in the dirt, Duffy said the curveball is a key for him because he can throw it for a strike to get ahead. And then when he gets ahead, as you just saw, he'll throw it down, get a hitter to chase with it as well.
Expand it.
Locates the fastball. And if he can move it in and around and stay out of the middle of the plate, that's how he can be effective.
Well, this is a guy, Duffy, that started in Double-A last year before he was called.
And he gets him with that big curveball. Second strikeout for Duffy. Going down here in the third. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. While we were away yesterday, the Indians officially put Michael Brantley on the disabled list. They also moved Roberto Perez to the 60-day DL. And they called up Michael Martinez. In for a strike.
Well, Duffy now 9 for 9 in first pitch strikes, so he's come out and he's pounded the strike zone. So that second time through, you may watch the Indians hitter, see if they make an adjustment and get after that first pitch.
Polanco takes care of Michael Martinez. 2 down here in the third. Well, first time through, zip, nada, nothing. They got one base runner, and that was a walk with 2 outs to Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, nobody swung at that first pitch.
Santana with a solid stroke to center field, and the Indians have their first hit, a 2-out single here in inning number 3.
He missed with the first strike, came right back, and Santana was waiting for it this time. Pitch out over the plate, stayed on it, hit it right to center field. First hit for the Tribe comes with 2 outs here in the third.
Jason Kipnis with 1 hit so far in the series against Minnesota. That 1 hit was a home run. Friday night, Kipnis got a ball that was out over the plate. It was down, and he just dropped the barrel head and golfed it to straightaway center field. Boy, it was a fun game Friday night because the ball was carrying. A lot of home runs, a lot of action. Indians held on at the end to win at 7-6.
Yeah, yesterday was the first time in the 5 games that wasn't a 1-run ball game. There's what you're talking about. Friday night, straightaway center. For Kipnis, that was his 4th home run.
Boy, what a difference, though, too. Friday night, it was a good crowd, a good atmosphere. It was warm, it was spring-like, and then yesterday, it was like the tables got flipped. The game was kind of flat, wasn't a whole lot going on. The weather was awful. It was off and on raining. Steady downpour in the last couple of innings.
Well, it always seems to have it in May. You'll have a weekend or a series in May that is
where
like
you can go pillar to post in 24 hours.
Yes, indeed. It's always been that way. You think you know you made it through the stretch and it's nothing but nice weather.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
Kipnis tries to pull it foul. Yeah, you can see the first baseman, Byung-Ho Park, he was diving for it. Probably not 100% sure which way it was. Right down the chalk, but foul right in front of the bag. I mean, right in front of the bag. Terry Francona out to talk to Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, about the play.
Yeah, that's one that's not reviewable.
It's right in front of that umpire first.
Anything in front of the umpires, you certainly cannot.
Will Little, the first base umpire, made the call. And I think he made the right call. It was just so close. It was fair the whole way, and then right in front of the bag, it just cut. Now Kipnis trying to find a hole, and he will. Santana will hit the bag and go to third. Back-to-back two-out singles. And the Indians trying to make some two-out noise here, as the Twins did in the second inning.
Well, there's one where Kipnis is able to beat the shift, only he didn't pull it in the hole. They got 3 on the right side, but he finds the big hole between the second baseman and shortstop, more up the middle than as a pull, you know, to the pull side. So he gets the hit that way. That's a rarity where you see him burn him that way up the middle. So back-to-back singles keeps the inning going. First and third. Give Lindor an opportunity now.
Now Francisco with a two-out walk in the first inning. But 4 hits in his last 8 at-bats. And as I said earlier, in his first time up, his last 13 games here at home, a .452 batting average. The one oddity, and I suppose if you look hard enough, you can find a stat that doesn't look favorable for anybody. But with Lindor, everything looks good. Average against lefties, righties, home, road. But runners in scoring position, just 6 for 24 so far on the year.
That'll change. As the year goes on, that'll change. You know, sometimes you get in there, and remember, he's just a young player, man, 22 years old. He still has a lot to learn when it comes to hitting with runners in scoring position. You know, it's a confidence thing, and sometimes you try to do too much instead of just doing what you're capable of doing. He'll learn that. He'll learn, and when he pick and choose times what you have to do.
It's probably why you don't normally see players that young hitting in the number 3 hole.
I mean, and now you look all over baseball, there's a lot of young players hitting in that number 3 hole. There's over half a dozen of them. As I looked, you know, about a week or so ago, Correa down in Houston, and you've got Bogarts in Boston, and you've got a lot of young players that are hitting in the number 3 hole. And they'll learn. They'll learn at a quicker pace than a lot of times the veterans.
Lindor down on strikes.
A little upset. He's trying too hard.
Left a pair on here in the inning. Minnesota on top 2-0. 4th inning. Looks like he's doing a little meditating out there. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for Minnesota. Young-Ho Park led off the second with a double over the bag at third. Came around to score Minnesota's first run.
Got him to take a bad swing right there. Park doubled his first time. He came out around to score the first run. He missed with his location. He wanted a ball away and it leaked out over the plate. He was able to hit it down the third baseline, right over the bag.
Chased one downstairs, and Bauer strikes him out. 1 away.
4 strikeouts now for Trevor. He stayed away that time. He didn't miss his location. That's a nice pitch. Gets him to swing over the top of it. Looked like a little cutter right there the way it came out of his hand.
Big curveball misses outside. Oswaldo Arcia out of Venezuela. I'll get back out of play. Good elevated fastball in on his hands. Nothing he could do with it.
Above the belt. But you see, Arcia is a guy, he doesn't change his swing, Matty. He goes up there, he tries to hit everything out of the ballpark. There's no way he can get the barrel of the bat to that pitch right there. That's inside, it's above the belt. 9-0-2, 1-2 counts for Bauer now.
Now the 2-2. Oh, what a beautiful curveball. And that's about the 3rd or 4th he's thrown today that has just baffled a Twins hitter. Whether they're not looking for it, can't react, or a combination of the two.
Well, that's not reacting right there. Arcia was so embarrassed that he swung it anyway after the ball was by him because he didn't want to get called looking. It goes down as a called third. Watch him. I'm going to swing anyway. Just a little bit tardy.
That looked like one of those Charlie Brown Peanuts
yeah, right.
comic swings. Upstairs.
Either that or the Bugs Bunny changeup that you see on the cartoons where you swing about 100 times before it gets there.
Polanco sends the bat up against the netting in the on-deck circle.
Today, a player has done that. Lindor back in the 1st inning. And this is where the bat boy made a beautiful catch. Goes off the netting, and I'll tell you what, thank goodness that netting is there this year, because that would have, both of them would have been up in the seats.
Connor's right on it.
I don't know what it is with Connor today.
He's a magnet.
He's got to give him the claw and let him put it on the bat before they go up there.
Line drive on one hop. Lindor scoops it, flips it, inning over. Bauer set down 7 straight. Twins lead it 2-0. ball. Guess what? Jake Arrieta pitched another good game.
Yeah, more no-hitters and losses in his last 24 starts. Nice.
Got a little chippy, though. He hit a guy. Pirates hit a guy.
Well, them and the Pirates, they go back. It's going to be that way every time they play this year. You know that.
So far, it's all one-sided. Cubs, I think, won all 5 meetings head-to-head.
Well, still a long way to go. I'm sure they may meet many more times.
Mike Napoli to lead off here in the bottom of the 4th. One ball, one strike. Mike Napoli, born on Halloween night, 1981. Which, of course, was 3 years after one of the greatest movies of all time came out, Halloween.
Did it? It came out that year?
1978, 3 years before Mike was born. So he probably wasn't allowed to watch it yet at age 3.
No, I don't think so.
I wasn't allowed to watch it at age 10. I had to wait a couple of years. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, you see, you didn't have a TV in your own room back then. That's why, or you would have been watching it.
Oh, no.
Like the kids nowadays.
We didn't even have remote control. What are you talking about?
You used to have to hold up the rabbit ears, and your dad would move you left and right.
Yeah. You know, that's a funny thing. You start to realize the age gap, generation gap, when you say, you and I talk about UHF, and our kids would say, what is UHF?
Yeah, it was like a rotary phone, and yeah, there's a lot of things.
Napoli flied out the deep center his first time up. It sounded off the bat like he hit it pretty well, but it didn't go anywhere. Got to about the warning track and died in deep center. And he tied him up pretty good with that off-speed pitch. 4th strikeout now for Duffy. Both pitchers settling in here.
Well, kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. And kids tickets are located in the family deck here at Progressive Field, only available at Indians.com.
Ramirez fouling it out of play. Ball smoked to right field on a base hit. Jose Ramirez is one of those kind of players that the more he plays, the more he gets maybe just comfortable in his surroundings, the better he plays.
Now there's a pitch that Duffy leaves upstairs and he takes advantage of. Might have been a changeup up there that Ramirez able to turn on.
First couple of times we saw him in the major leagues, just didn't think maybe there was enough there, but he continue to get better, continue to get opportunities. I think the best thing you can say about Jose Ramirez is his confidence never wavers, and that is such a huge thing in a game of baseball, because you have to believe in yourself because of the rate of failure. You start to get down on yourself, and it is game over.
Well, I think he has someone to relate to a little bit more this year, too, with Uribe around. He follows him around like a big brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you see him, anytime I see him on the road or we're coming off the bus or around the hotel, he's always following him around. So maybe that is his comfort zone.
That tells you he's smart. To me, that just means he's smart.
Hanging around a veteran.
You're not going to listen to a guy like that that's been around as long as he has and had a lot of success. Here's Tyler Naquin. He smoked the ball his first time up, but Nunez, the shortstop, made a whale of a play to get him. Yankees has picked up again, blowing out toward right center field. Naquin shoots one right up the gut, right over the bag and into center field. Ramirez will have to stop at second. But once again, the Indians with a couple of 2-out base runners. Same situation back in the 3rd inning.
There's the curveball, and Naquin takes it right back up the middle. You know, a lot of times when you see left-handers now with this ball, you don't see them as hits anymore because there's the shift. But there's one that goes right over the second base bag, and maybe he's just hasn't been around the big leagues long enough to get that much of a book on him.
Is that though because he wasn't trying to do too much?
He didn't try to pull it. Yeah. That's for sure. He stayed right on it, and I think that that has something to do with it. Right.
Chris Jimenez will try to deliver the 2-out knock now.
You know what? If he tried to pull it, he might have hit that ball harder, but he would have hit it where they were playing. He just sometimes hit it where it's pitched. You don't have to hit it on the nose. It seems like when you change up on the defense coming off the bat, you get a lot of hits sometime.
Good cut. That was his pitch. It was a little bit away. Maybe the reason why he couldn't drive that, following it back 0-2. The Twins struck with 2 outs. Back-to-back 2-out RBI hits in the second. Grab the 2-0 lead. Throw to first. Naquin back in plenty of time.
Send along a happy birthday wish. Lila Buss of Willard turning 85 today. Lila, happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday wishes to our boy Cody Westmoreland down in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Did he go? The appeal, he did not. Yeah, he celebrated his birthday on Friday. And
all right, happy birthday, Cody. No, you didn't. You did not. Did you have it written down and forget?
It was in my Johnny Hornsby sent me a message on my phone, and I said, "Yo, remind me Friday." He reminded me, and I still forgot.
Johnny Hornsby in the range.
In the range, yeah. Right. Jimenez falls into the Indians dugout, and a 2-2 count for Chris. Jose Ramirez at second base. Tyler Naquin at first. And a smash up the gut, but right there is the second baseman Polanco, who throws him out, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We've played 4. Minnesota 2, Cleveland nothing. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Happy Dog serving them up. 2-0. Twins on top as we roll to inning number 5. Trevor Bauer in 4 innings of work. 42 out of 65 pitches have been for strikes. Bunts it up in the air, and Bauer says thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a gift right there.
In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Back-to-back 2-out RBI hits in the second gave Minnesota a 2-0 lead. And that has been it so far. Tyler Duffy has been able to work out of back-to-back 2-out jams in the 3rd and 4th innings. Indians 0 for 2 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position so far here today. Missed inside. Eddie Rosario drove in a run. The first run of the game with that 2-out knock in the second. Juan Centeno, this guy, I'll tell you what, not afraid to swing the bat from what we've seen. Got him to roll over on a ball here. 2 quick outs. Andre, remember back in spring training, Trevor Bauer, it seemed like anytime he was talking to reporters, it was always about velocity, velocity. Where is he now with regards to that kind of mentality, that thinking?
Well, he explained it to me when we were in Houston. He said, you know, I didn't go about explaining it the right way, and I kind of got myself in trouble by talking about it. He said, I didn't like how many home runs I gave up last year. I didn't like the walks I gave up, and I knew I needed separation between my changeup and fastball. So he didn't leave a page unturned this offseason to try to figure out how to get his velocity up and how to get the ball down. Then he even told me we can go to his YouTube page to show you how he did it. But he has found a way to get his velocity up, but he wanted a difference between his change and his fastball. And he says if you do the research, the harder you can throw with that separation, the better pitcher you are. And that's what he's been able to do so far this season.
Down in the dirt.
No, he's a guy that'll look at all angles, as you said, Matt. There's no stone left unturned. Bauer can find a way to improve, he'll do it. Remember, was it last year or the year before when Kluber, I think it was Kluber's Cy Young year, when he was throwing that slider, he went to the bullpen, watched him pitch it, and then tried to incorporate that into his game plan.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch. Hit in the air to center.
Little man.
Tyler Naquin grabs it, and Trevor Bauer rolls on. 10 in a row retired by the right-hander. ball game, grab your friends and catch the game from the corner or the new drink rails in left field. It's the $13 district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio, and it includes your first drink. It's only available online at Indians.com/district ticket. Michael Martinez batting for the second time today, showing bunt, taking a strike. A number of times we've seen Tyler Duffy just flip a curveball over for strike one. It's kind of a pitch that he's comfortable with.
Well, if you can throw it for a strike, why not? Most hitters are sitting there looking fastball first pitch. They're not going to swing at it. If they do and they don't hit it hard, it's a one pitch out anyway. You know, they really don't have a history going back with Duffy, so that get me over curveball strike one is, I think, a very good pitch if you can command it.
Ball's hit pretty well to left. Back is Rosario and makes the over-the-shoulder catch just in front of the warning track going away. Not a bad opposite field poke for Martinez.
Yeah, but on a day like today, you hit the ball in the air. He can't drive it out that way.
Well, Carlos Santana comes to the plate, fly it out to center field in the first, and then a 2-out single up the middle in the third. Swinging a lazy pop into shallow center field. In comes Santana, and there are 2 down. Well, part of the problem the Indians are having today offensively is that they haven't had their leadoff man aboard one time.
No, it seems like a lot of 2-out action. Back in the 4th inning last inning, they had a 1-out single, and they got the 2-out, and they had another single. But you know, that's been the Indians' MO a lot of times when they have not scored, is that, you know, they don't get anybody on early. A lot of 2-out base hits or walks. In this series, their leadoff hitter's just 2 for 19.
Way outside.
Going around for the 3rd time now, but Duffy, we told you the first time he went through this lineup, he was 9 for 9 on first pitch strikes. He's now 17 of 20 first pitch strikes, so he's been pitching in front. That is the key to pitching, I think, when you talk to any pitching coaches. Most important pitch, strike one. Now Sano comes to the right side of the infield, and Nunez moves over into the shortstop position again. They do that a lot with 2 strikes. When that left-hander gets 2 strikes, they'll send their third baseman to the right side.
Now the 2-2. Off the foot.
Tough to get that ball when it's down like that, and it's a curveball going down. You hit the top part of the ball, and you can see how you can beat it into the ground. And if he leaves it up a little bit, you get out front, you pop it up. Watch this thing. Gets around to the side, but it's going down, and it's tough to get underneath the baseball. And Kipnis loves the ball down.
Got in on him just enough, and he pops it up. And the Indians go 1-2-3 on 11 pitches here in inning number 5, where Twins lead it 2-0. go back 2 nights ago. Yan Gomes with a home run, and then yesterday he did it again. 2 home runs in as many games for Yan Gomes. 6th inning. Joe Mauer to lead off. He's 0 for 2. And Trevor Bauer with the first pitch. Strike. Mauer going the other way, but it's right at Jose Ramirez. 1 down. Rick, we were talking last inning about Bauer when he was out there, and loves to pitch, loves to get inside the science of it all. I really thought that, even though it might not have been what he wanted at the time, but I thought the move to the bullpen might have been pretty good in terms of his mentality, more suitable to his makeup, because we had a conversation in spring training, and he said the one thing that he doesn't love about baseball is the 4 days in between starts. You know, a lot of time to kill when you're a starting pitcher. Certainly you've got side work, you've got things to do, but once the game comes around, when you're a starting pitcher, there's a lot of just sitting and watching.
Yeah.
And not everybody's mentality is geared for that. So I thought maybe that move to the bullpen would have been better for him, because he had a chance to get involved in more games. But you can kind of tell as we get a little cloud burst here, you can kind of tell right away that he wanted to get back into the starting rotation.
Yeah.
And that's where he really wanted to be.
The only reason why you look at it that way is in the bullpen, you do have an opportunity to possibly pitch every day if you go out there. But he wasn't in the back end role, you know, when he went back in there. So he was only going to come in usually 6th or 7th inning. You know what I mean? Or
long man. Like
right.
The first time I think we saw him was in a late game. I don't know if it was extra innings, but it was ball sliced foul.
I can see his mentality, but any starting pitcher that I've ever talked to, and you're right, everybody's mindset is differently. If you're a good starting pitcher in the major leagues, you got it made. Pitch once every 5 days. You're on your own program. You can do whatever you want. And pitchers never seem to forget their start. Or, you know, you can talk to them 30 years later and they can remember what the count was with certain hitters because it's their day to pitch. Ask them what happened the next day. Did we win or lose? They couldn't tell you anything.
Well, in a lot of ways, as Bauer strikes out Nunez for his 6th strikeout today, and there are 2 down. Take a look at Bauer, what he's been able to do today. He's had good command of his fastball, getting ahead and then expanding the strike zones, and a good off-speed pitch.
He's pitched a gem today. It's just that Minnesota's been able to get to him with 2 outs with a couple of base hits. And other than that, he's been in total control. You can see he's locked him up. He's walked 1. He struck out 6. He's only given up 3 hits. Unfortunately, 2 of them came with 2 outs when guys were on base, and it's a 2-0 ball game. But he's got to hold it right there until the offense can try and get on the board. Hey, you're not a 3rd pick in the nation when you're drafted out of college if you don't have great stuff and you can't pitch. And you can see the range is 20 miles per hour. 22. So, you know, you have to have very good stuff, and you know, sometimes it takes a little while longer, but the light goes off. This kid has got great stuff. He can certainly win at this level. There's no doubt about it.
That didn't miss by much, but it's 3-1 now for Miguel Sano, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Big cut. He comes up empty. Full count.
Is that a changeup to the right-hander? I think it was. In a fastball count, he got a pitch out over the plate, but I think Bauer pulled the string.
Oh my!
He was already walking off the mound. He thought he had him. So 2 very close pitches in that at bat. Now Jimenez is asking the umpire, "Hey Sean, where was that pitch?" And that's who should do the talking. There's a fastball.
Right there.
Well, it certainly looks like it.
He had retired 12 in a row, and he has the string snapped on a pitch that was a strike that's called a ball.
It was right there in our eyes, but the umpire, the one that's calling the balls and strikes, didn't think so.
Now Park cuts and misses. Got off the glove of Jimenez and down to second goes Sano. The problem there is that ball had that two-seam movement. It was bearing in on Park. And I think Jimenez, a lot of catchers will start to go for that ball, but they'll start to kind of flinch because they're afraid it's going to hit the batter and then maybe carry him off of him.
Well, he might have lost it for a little bit as it goes in there. It almost looked like it caught part of the jersey. You know, they're looking. I think Minnesota's looking at that to see if it caught the jersey. It'll be a pass ball, but that's too tough to tell. They are not. He went back into the dugout. Molitor did.
If I was Molitor, I'd say it didn't hit him, no matter what.
Well, yeah, you want to see it one swing for 2 runs is what he wants to see. But
good pitch by Bowers. I don't know what that is at 87, but I mean, it's up in the strike zone.
He's thrown a couple of cutters up there, I think. See it? He's on the outside and he cuts it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that pitch is.
Man, that's just all out heat.
19 swings and misses today for Trevor.
That's strikeout number 7. And Trevor Bauer continues to mow him down, but the Indians have not been able to get on the board. Prom time. Doesn't feel like it, but it is that time of year on the calendar. Francisco Lindor leading off for the Tribe here in the 6th. He walked in the first, struck out with 2 on base in the 3rd inning. Now leading off here in the 6th, and we'll see if the Tribe can get their leadoff man aboard.
Well, there's a break. He missed with the first pitch, so you know he's going to come back and throw a strike.
Rosario able to run it down in deep left for out number 1.
Now stepping into the Indians, designated hitter, Napoli.
Duffy gets in with a fastball for a strike. Last time up, like a number of curveballs was able to get Napoli. This time, a couple of fastballs to start him off.
He's talking to himself right now. He knows he opened up a little bit and missed with that fastball, so he's having a little talk to himself. Then comes back with a curveball.
Swings and misses, strikes out. 5 Ks for Duffy. 2 down here in the 6th.
Well, Tribetown MVPs is the official kids fan club of the Cleveland Indians. It's designed for kids ages 6 to 14, and memberships are $20. They include invitations to exclusive events and one-of-a-kind Tribe gear. Just go to Indians.com/Tribetown MVPs for more information. Right-handers 0 for 7 off Duffy today. So it's come on left-handers, let's go. You got to take advantage of them. Well, you see now the Indians bench is barking because of the 2 close calls that they had last inning that were called balls.
Well, that one's understandable right there. Now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down low to even it up. Uribe would follow should Ramirez reach here in the 6th. Right back through the middle. Well, Jose Ramirez with his 2nd hit of the game. And once again for the Indians, it's been the theme of the day. It's a 2-out hit.
Well, Ramirez very patient in that at-bat. He waits the 2 strikes. He gets a fastball that's up. Was in the zone, but he took it right back up the middle. So the Indians have out-hit Minnesota today 5-3.
Rick, 6 base runners for the Tribe. 5 have come with 2 outs.
Yeah.
This is just a tough way to try to get a rally rolling. Ball gets away, and the scoring position goes Ramirez.
Yeah, wild pitch. 2nd of the year for Duffy. There you'll see it's that curveball that bounces in the dirt. Not much Centeno can do there. Tried to block it and keep in front, so Ramirez goes to 2nd.
We'll see if Uribe can deliver the clutch hit. Roll to the 3rd, Sano. In the dirt, but dug out nicely by Park to end the inning. 6 complete, still 2-0 Minnesota. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. A cold day at the yard. It was 45 at game time. It's pretty much held steady.
Boy, they got the right idea. Better watch out that jacket doesn't catch on fire. She's sitting right on it.
She was about ready to sit in the fire. That's how cold it is. That ball inside as Arcia had to jump out of the way. He's 0 for 2 and has struck out twice. Back out of play. And a miss outside. Smoke to first. Santana knocks it down, stays with it. And we've got one away here in the 7th inning.
Well, you look at Trevor Bauer and check these pitches out in slow motion, how that two-seamer runs away. There's the curveball. You can see the spin going down. Nice pitch. There's that little cutter. That runs up and away. And the changeup. You can see the different spin on every one of those pitches. And he's had command of them all today. This will be pitch number 100 for him. And 62 strikes.
Lavelle Neal is a longtime beat writer for the Minnesota Twins. Covers the team for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. And last year he was in Cleveland covering the Twins-Indian series. And on October the 1st, before the game, he went out to meet a friend in town for lunch. And he said he was sitting there and looked around, and here comes Tyler Duffey walking in. He ate, they chatted briefly. Duffey ate quickly and left. Said 5 minutes later he turned around and there's Trevor Bauer in the same spot. They were matched up that day here at Progressive Field, and they both pitched really well. This game is almost a carbon copy of that one. In that game a year ago on October 1st, Bauer went 7 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Duffey went 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits.
Yeah, I remember that's the only time he gave up runs to the Indians was last year here in that stadium.
That was hit pretty well.
Yeah,
deep center field. Naquin back, looking up, and it's gone. Jorge Polanco. And Bauer can't believe it either.
That kid, I'll tell you what, he hit it when he grounded out his last time up, or the first time up to first base, he hit it on the nose, and that's a pretty quick bat right there, and the ball jumped off of it.
His first home run.
Cuts through the wind, man. He's quick in there. But that ball leaked out over the plate. He didn't get it in where Jimenez wanted. Now that you look at the replay. Boy, it turned on it, and that got out in a hurry. That makes it a 3-run game right now, and Bauer wanted to just, boy, got to keep him at bay here, and then 1 swing of the bat.
His first major league home run. And a 3-0 Minnesota lead with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Rosario. 1 out of 2 on the afternoon. He had one of the 2-out RBI hits in the 2nd inning. Big curveball, rung him up. That has been a dynamite pitch for Trevor today, and that's his 8th strikeout of the afternoon.
There's the spin of that curveball, and it has locked up some Minnesota hitters today. Chamberlain getting ready, but Bauer is 1 out away from
getting through the 7th inning.
Jimenez picked that pitch. It's a tough one to catch, and he certainly did.
Juan Centeno had one of those 2-out hits in the 2nd inning. A double that made it 2-0 at the time. And it stayed that way until the Polanco homer here in the 7th. Polanco, Rosario, Centeno, the O brothers, have done all the damage to the Indians so far today. Three balls and a strike. Line up the middle and a base hit.
The kid can hit a fastball.
He's going to stop as he thought about maybe heading for 2, but wisely holds with a 2-out single, and that's going to be it for Bauer as Terry Francona will go to his bullpen for the first time here this afternoon. Trevor Bauer pitched well. Probably one of those games where you look back and say he deserved a better fate, because at best he can get a no decision here this afternoon. He will leave on the hook for a loss after he goes 6 2/3 innings, striking out 8 but allowing 3 runs. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen is for right-hander Jabba Chamberlain. He's coming on when we come back with the Indians down 3-0. Hey, don't forget to check out Jimmy Hanlon in the Golf Zone. That's tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio. Got tips for your game and talk about this weekend's action on tour. What was it, the PGA, the TPC?
They're at the Players Championship. Yes.
Well, Jabba Chamberlain on for the Indians. He'll be facing Danny Santana, who's 0 for 2. Got a runner on base. Jabba's done a nice job this year out of the Indians bullpen. Another frustrating day to this point. Hits are even at 5 apiece, but the Indians' hits have all come with the bases empty and 2 outs. The Twins had a couple of 2-out RBI hits in the 2nd and a solo shot here in the 7th. In between, Trevor Bauer simply dominated them, but nothing to show for it.
And normally this is the first start where Duffy has gotten more than one run of support in his starts. This is start number 4. They only scored him 1 in all 3 starts. Well, he has a total of 3 today. But he's made it stand up to this point. See if they can get him out of the ball game, and maybe they can get to that Minnesota pen.
Fouled right back. Two-two, the count on Santana with a runner aboard and 2 gone on the 7th, and the Indians down 3-0. Bottom third of the Indians order due up in the home half of the 7th inning. Time running out for the 2nd game in a row for a slumbering Indians offense. There's the 2-2. Santana chases one on the dirt, and that'll end the inning. Jorge Polanco flunks one out of here, and it's 3-0 Minnesota. By Miller Lite.
Fly ball center field. Manning coming on. He's there. He catches it. Len Barker has pitched the no-hitter. A perfect game for Len Barker.
Well, 35 years.
Unbelievable. Large Lenny was dealing that night. Friday night it was cold, drizzly. That was the 10th perfect game. He did not have a strikeout till the 4th inning. 11 out of his last 17. That slider started getting better and better. Didn't have a 3-ball count in there. And for Lenny, that was strange because, you know, he was a little wild at times. But that night, everything was locked in for him. I got a good story. He was actually picking his brother up from the airport and never got to the ballpark till about, I think it was a 7:30 start. Never got there till about a little before 7 o'clock because he was late picking up his brother. Went out to the bullpen, ends up throwing a perfect game.
In there for a strike. The other story I love that came out of that perfect game that Lenny told is the fact that I think it was his mother-in-law at the time, was in Philadelphia, and she was.
That's his mom.
Was his mom?
Yeah.
Listening through the static on the radio, barely could pick up bits and pieces, and then the radio the reception just went out about the 7th inning. She had to wait till the 11 o'clock news came on to find out if he had actually completed the perfect. I mean, it just tells you how times have changed.
Yes.
No satellite TV, no ESPN, no 24-hour sports.
MLB, they'd be locked into the game if it was the 9th inning now.
1 ball, 2 strikes as Tyler Naquin starts the bottom of the 7th for Cleveland, trying to spark a rally here. He checks on a ball down low, did not go, says third base umpire Angel Hernandez. Slapped the other way, but foul. Right back up the middle. It might have got a piece of Duffy, but it caroms right to the second baseman, Polanco, for out number 1. Naquin hit it right on the button again, Rick, but twice today he's been thrown out.
That's okay. Not much you can do. You can't guide him. You can only hit him hard, and he has. That first time was to the shortstop. This one almost looked like it went between his legs.
I think you're right.
And directed right at Polanco, and they throw him out at first base. But 3 good at-bats for Naquin today. All directed up the middle of the field. Shortstop, the base hit was up the middle, and this one close enough to center that the second baseman could get.
Chris Jimenez has struck out, grounded out.
This is where the Indians have been able to do this. Only the 6th time now that he's gone to 1-0. And then the Indians get a base hit.
Line to left. And a diving catch made by Rosario. And there are 2 down. Sinking liner, but Rosario got a good jump on it. Able to go to that backhanded slide.
Looks like he might have gotten it a little bit off the end of the bat, but as you say, he got a good jump, puts it away, picks it up off the ground for out number 2.
And now Michael Martinez 0 for 2 on the afternoon. He smacks one up the gut, and another base hit right through the middle of the infield.
That was a breaking ball, first pitch, and he gets a base hit.
That's the 4th hit for the Indians that has gone straight up the middle today.
They had 2 2-out singles in the 3rd, a 1-out single in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and now 1 in the 7th.
Carlos Santana 0 for 3. He had one of those singles up the middle. That was back in the 3rd. Now they position the defender right behind second base to try to take that hit away. Not only are the Twins playing Santana to pull on the infield, but in the outfield as well. on the dirt. Couple of arms up for Minnesota as we reach the top of the order. So Duffy, the starting pitcher, facing the Indians lineup for the 4th time. How many of those hitters he faces, this might be it.
I think you're right.
I wouldn't think
Abad would be.
If Santana reaches, I don't think he'll face Kipnis.
No, he won't, because he came on Friday night to face Kipnis. So there's no doubt that's why he is up there. He's a specialist on getting lefties out.
Not a bad pitch.
Now it's Duffy's turn to look out there and say, my goodness, I've been getting it all day and I don't get it now. Well, and that's the difference. Swings a count instead of a 2-2 count. He gets one. Now it's 3-1.
I can't blame him for shaking his
head. Well,
he
can't believe it either, but that's just the way it goes. Sometimes it's unbelievable.
And he chops it foul.
Well, this will probably be the last pitch, if it's not a foul ball, for Tyler Duffy this afternoon, regardless of what happens.
Runner goes. The payoff pitch swung on and missed. Boy, Duffy, impressive. 7 shutout innings this afternoon, and the Twins still lead it 3-0. Telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Eighth inning. Tyler Duffy with a dandy. 7 goose eggs on the board.
22 of 28 first pitch strikes. That was the key. Only 6 guys he fell behind, and 3 of those 6 were base hits for the Indians. So it's very important. He did a great job getting ahead and putting away hitters.
He allowed 1 man to reach with fewer than 2 outs today. That's pretty much the story of the game. That and no walks. I mean, that's
well, that's part of that offense that we talk about with the Indians. You got to try and walk, and he didn't walk anybody. You got to hit your way on, and he was very stingy.
Joe Mauer flinching, taking a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2. Java Chamberlain, the native of Lincoln, Nebraska, which is where he wound up going to school, playing for the Cornhuskers, and became a top pick of the Yankees, a supplemental first-round choice in '06. Fastball misses outside. Swing and a miss on another good slider. He strikes out Mauer. Back-to-back Ks for Java. One down here in the 8th inning.
Well, yeah, we were talking about Tyler Duffy, and we'll tell you what a day he had. He had that curveball. We told you it was a very good pitch for him. Well, it was working today. He could throw it for strike one when he wanted to, and then that's the put-away pitch where he really throws it down and gets that hitter to chase. Mixed in his fastball, some change-ups as well. He was in total command today.
Out of play to the right. Manship getting loose in the Tribe pin. Just tapped it, and it goes foul. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Jabba. He's fanned all three that he has faced, and there are two down now in the 8th inning.
At bat for the Twins, number 22.
The Red Cross Cup offers you the chance to play the legendary Canterbury Golf Club Monday, June 13th, while supporting the Red Cross in Northeast Ohio. Visit redcross.org/NEO today to register and get more information. Great golf course. Miguel Sano 0 for 2 with a walk, takes a strike. Slider, but he lays off. Big curveball that time, and Sano was buckled by it. And now Chamberlain is ahead of him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball popped up just over our heads and all the way into the upper deck. 1-2 pitch. He kind of waved at it, but no, did not go around, says Will Little at first base. Take another look here from the side. It was close. He almost went after it, but just able to check in time. So he hangs around for another pitch. Gonzalez 2-2. Another slider.
There's
this one
pitch.
Painted the outside corner. And the inning is over. Jabba Chamberlain continues his strong work out of the bullpen. 4 up, 4 down, all struck out. The field where the Twins lead the Indians 3-0. A recap of our keys to the game courtesy of Mazda. Trevor Bauer had a great pace today and he pitched well. 8 strikeouts in 6 2/3. He only gave up 5 hits, but unfortunately the 3 runs have been much too hard to overcome for an Indians offense that has gone dormant against Minnesota pitching here today.
Well, we'll see if they can do any damage to the bullpen. We're able to get him Friday night.
Snapped his scoreless inning streak at 9.
Yeah, he went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs in that ball game. He walked 1, struck out 1.
Jason Kipnis, Francisco Lindor, and Mike Napoli due up. Jason Kipnis looks at a strike. Threw it by him. 0-2. Got a piece in and out of the glove of Centeno, so he stays in there. Trevor May, originally drafted by the Phillies, came to the Twins in the offseason of 2012. It's been a pretty good trade for Minnesota as you take a look at what he's been able to do so far this year. Last year in 48 games, he had an ERA of 4, but he started 16 games.
I was going to say he was a spot starter as well, so he can, you know, not sure where he's going to go, but right now out of the bullpen.
And bounced in there, and it's back to even at 2-2. Kipnis hammers one high and deep down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. Goodbye. Jason Kipnis gets the Indians on the board with a long home run right down the right field line. Just did keep it inside the pole for a solo shot, his 5th home run of the year. And just like yesterday's game, a late home run will try to give the Indians a little offensive life.
Well, there's that first time that they've been able to get their leadoff man not only on, but got him in with one swing of the bat. And for May, that's his 2nd home run allowed. But it was right down the line. Now the Indians are on the board. Now go back to work. Get another man on base, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Here is Francisco Lindor, 0 for 2 with a walk today. Upstairs, and it's 2-0. So Kipnis has 2 hits today, 3 hits in the series, and 2 of those 3 hits have been home runs. Minnesota bullpen is quiet, and that's low. 3-0. And if he walks Lindor on 4 straight, that bullpen for Minnesota might not be quiet for long.
No, I wouldn't think so, because he had a rough outing on Friday.
And he finds the strike zone with a fastball at 94. See what Lindor, he's probably going to be really picky on this pitch.
Well, I would be also.
He pops it up. Left field. Rosario makes the running catch. You can see how the wind, which is
knocked it down,
coming in now a little bit more from left field. It definitely knocked that ball down because it was so high in the air. It forced Rosario into a full sprint in from left field to make the catch. Well, unfortunately, Lindor had to count in his favor. It looked like he was at least primed to maybe get himself on base, but on the 3-1 pitch, can't do anything with it. So 1 away for Mike Napoli. Swing and a miss. Nap 1 out of 10 in the series. Struck out twice today as a double for his lone hit. And that's a foul back. After today, Minnesota will head up north for a 3-game series against the Tigers.
You can see where Centeno put that target upstairs. They wanted it letter high, because Napoli has had no success against May in his career. It's the 7th time he has faced him. He has struck out 6 times. Make it 7.
2 down. And up comes Jose Ramirez, who's had a solid day at the dish with 2 hits. So 2 for 3 today and 4 for 9 in the series. To left. In comes Rosario, and the inning is over. Jason Kipnis gets the Indians on the board. 3-1 Minnesota as we go to the ninth.
3-1 over here at the corner along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. Jensen, today Trevor Bauer pitched well, but not much run support.
Yeah, not run support at all. It's encouraging for Trevor, but what's alarming is the Indians, again, they can't have these series losses if the score holds up today against last place teams. You squandered an opportunity against Houston. You've squandered an opportunity so far up to this point against Minnesota. It's got to change if you want to be taken seriously.
Join us for Indians Live after the game, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. For the ninth, back upstairs we go. Here are Matt and Rick, fellas.
I mean, speaking of being taken seriously, guys, come on. I know it's cold down there, but none of the players have earmuffs or hats down there. Come on. I guess they went silent.
I was waiting for a response.
Jeff Manship, 14th appearance on the year, 2.79 ERA, and he drops the first pitch strike over to Byung-Ho Park with Oswaldo Arcia on deck and then Jorge Polanco. Boy, nice outing today for Java Chamberlain. That's blooped. Tough play. Nobody can get it. Perfectly placed by Park for a leadoff bloop single. Something to smile about. Java Chamberlain struck out all 4 that he faced today. Good fastball command, but the go-to pitch, the slider.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He had a great slider going straight down. Got Mauer there. So far, all 3. Make it 4. 4 punch-outs coming on the slider. Thank you very much. 4 batters faced, 4 punch-outs.
Oswaldo Arcia 0 for 3, has struck out twice. Boy. Sunshine back here at Progressive Field, but Indians they have not been able to solve Minnesota. Going back to a year ago, it's been a team that has given them fits within the division. Good block by Jimenez, keeping Park at first base. Minnesota hasn't been able to beat many people this year, but they've done a number on the Indians, and going back to a year ago, they have won 10 out of their last 14. and 8 against the Indians over their last 22. High pop. Naquin in center field has the catch for out number 1. Well, the Pat O'Brien play of the game is the home run by Jorge Polanco in the 7th inning, because that made it a 3-0 game. Polanco's first big league blast. And it ended a stretch where Trevor Bauer had retired 14 out of 15 batters in between allowing runs.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And, you know, that 3-run makes a big difference, because now they have to get somebody on board to get the tying run to the plate. So that was a big run at the time.
Mentioned before that Polanco, despite the fact that coming into this year he had 9 games in the major leagues, he'd spent over 500 career games in the minor leagues. But that's because the Twins signed him one day after his 16th birthday. And now he's got another hit. Back come the Twins here with 2 on and 1 out in the top half of the 9th inning.
Gets a ball again out over the plate that he likes. Lines it into center field. That's 7 hits now for the Twins as well. Well, they have first and second with 1 out, and they certainly want to put a 0 on the board here.
Eddie Rosario drove in a run back in the 2nd inning. There's a high drive. Deep center field. Naquin makes a catch. No, can't hold on. He crashed into the wall. Ball rolls all the way toward the 375-foot mark, and 2 runs will score for Minnesota. Eddie Rosario may have just landed a knockout punch with a 2-run triple that makes it 5-1 Minnesota.
Well, that ball stayed in. I thought it was going to get out of here, and you see the fastball middle in. Rosario turns on it. I want to see where Naquin was out there on this ball at the wall. It's in play. It's in play. He gets there and never. No, that's got to be caught. He ran right into the wall. You got to know where you're at. I didn't see him take a peek. It was right off his glove. Very catchable play right there.
Well, they give him a double. I don't. That hit
it's got to be a triple
of his glove. It's not a triple. It should be an error. They hit right in the palm of his glove.
They got to give him a triple. It's got to be a triple. I mean, he was going all the way. He never hesitated. They sent him. Yeah, that's a ball that has to be made. The catch has got to be made. Infield's coming in now to try and cut it off. But those 2 runs make it a 5-1 game.
Back out of play. Juan Centeno. 2 hits, an RBI. 2nd day in a row, though, Rick. The Twins have taken a game where they had a close lead, and now they've opened it up.
Well,
2nd game in a row.
Well, that's what happens. Sometimes they relax, and it makes it easier for them. And a couple of big hits right there.
Strikes him out. Took a while to get the call.
He's saying it hit the ground, and they're saying no, it didn't.
He's saying go back to the dugout.
Yeah. Now let's look and see. We'll see. Hernandez at 3rd said it hit the ground. It did hit the ground. They've got to.
I'm not so sure he ever foul tipped it.
It looked like he did.
Well, but on that angle, it didn't look like he ever touched the ball, did he?
I wonder, is that reviewable?
I don't believe so.
I mean, if you can hit a batter with it and they can review it, I would think they would have to be able to review that. That would have been one worth it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Script towards 3rd. Uribe, his only play at 1st. And they got him to end the inning. And Molitor's coming out of the dugout. He might want a challenge here.
Well, he looked like he was out there anyway.
We got 16 umpires in every dugout now. And they're all hollering the call to go their way.
Well, watch the play. I think he got him anyway.
Yep.
There, he's out.
So that's going to end the inning. Once Molitor decides that he will not challenge, but he's got to wait for his video replay coordinator, Sean Harlan, who used to be a Twins media relations guy back in the old days. So that'll end the inning. Twins get 2 big ones. Last chance for the Indians coming up next. bottom of the 9th inning. And Minnesota will hand the ball to Kevin Jepsen. 6'3", 235-pound right-hander, 31 years old.
Well, 2 saves.
He won 2 games against the Indians last month.
2 of 5 in save opportunities, but the 2 runs in the top half of that inning really going to make it tough now for the Indians.
Yes.
Down 4.
Darren Mastroianni comes into the ball game in right field for Minnesota. And it will be Uribe, Naquin, and Jimenez due up for Cleveland. Uribe takes, it's a strike, 1-1. Foul back. Now this Indians club has been kind of tough to figure out. At times, offensively, they've swung the bats very well. Friday night, for example, they scored 7 runs. Did some damage, came from behind late to score. But then the last 2 games, they just completely shut down and have gone silent. I don't think there's any question that this lineup sorely misses the presence of a healthy Michael Brantley.
Well,
and what a difference he would make.
It would make a big difference. 15 times, it doesn't include this game, 3 runs or less.
But here's the reality, Rick. They're going to be without him for 2 weeks at minimum. And who knows, from what we've seen so far, if we will see, in fact, a productive Michael Brantley in 2016. At this point, who knows?
Well, you don't. You certainly hope so, because it's the second time he's on the disabled list. And if anybody, I'm sure that man wants him back. He's a tough guy to replace. You just don't take your best hitter out of a lineup and, you know, plug somebody else in to do the job.
No, it did not work that way. Bit low for Tyler Naquin. Upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Naquin has hit the ball hard all 3 times today, but only 1 hit to show for it. Foul back, 2-1.
Yeah, he's been to the middle part of the field every time up as well. Knocked the shortstop down on his first at bat. Base hit right over second base on the second one, and then the third one hit on the nose, but it was right at the second baseman who was playing him up the middle.
Threw it by him. It's 2-2. Good fastball by Jepsen, 94 miles an hour, and you can see Centeno. I don't think I've seen a catcher like Juan Centeno go down to the Tony Pena stance in a long time. But he went down, sat down, kicked the leg out. I like that. Wants it down again. See if he goes all the way down. Not quite as low this time.
Nice pitch.
But he painted it. And there are 2 down in the 9th.
Well located fastball. I mean, you're not going to hit it if you swing at it. Right at the knees, outside edge, perfect.
Number 38, Chris Jimenez.
That'll leave it up to Chris Jimenez. Jimenez 0 for 3, lined out to left his last time up. And a fastball in there for strike one. Orioles lead the Tigers 5-4. They're in the 5th in Baltimore. Yankees over the White Sox 5-4. They're in the 6th in New York. Jimenez with a line drive single into left field. And the Indians stay alive here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, Jimenez gets a fastball right there, and he put a good swing on it. Hit a line drive to left field to keep it going. 8th hit now, his first of the afternoon.
Tom Bochenek has a note on Chris Jimenez's base hit with 2 outs in the 9th, but I can't quite make it out.
First hit by a right-handed hitter today for the Indians.
That's what it was. He was trying to mouth me this stat, and I couldn't quite understand what he was saying there.
Got to be a better lip reader.
Ball loose down the right field line. Get that cleaned up. Michael Martinez will continue. He's down 0-1. 1 out of 3 on the day for the Indians' number 9 hitter. Base hit into right field, and Jimenez goes to second base, and the Indians aren't done yet. It's going to bring up Carlos Santana. One more aboard. Tying run comes to the plate.
Well, there you go. Another fastball down middle of the plate. He hits it. Keeps it going. So again, the Indians with a pair of 2-out singles.
Carlos Santana 1 for 4 on the afternoon. I guess it's kind of typical the way this game has gone, Rick, that the Indians are trying to do it when there are already 2 outs in the inning. Here's with less than 2 outs today, the Indians have had 20 at bats and they're 2 for 20. With 2 outs, they're 7 out of 15. But when you don't have any on base, it's tougher to get string 3-4 hits
sure it is.
Together in a row to
Absolutely.
get a run.
But the thing for Minnesota, I mean, keep the pressure on. They came back and they scored 2 in the top half of the 9th. That's the difference.
Second game in a row that's happened. And I think yesterday in the bottom of the 9th, wasn't it? The Indians came back and scored a run yesterday.
Yes, they did.
But it was a lot steeper hill to climb, as it is again here this afternoon. The 1-1 in the dirt. Santana danced out of the way. If Santana should reach, then you'd have Jason Kipnis up next, and he would be the tying run. Will he get a chance? Outfield with the infield, swung around to the right for Santana. High pop center field. This should do it. Anthony Santana cruises in, and this game is over. Minnesota, for the second time this year, has taken 2 out of 3 from the Indians. as they win the final 2 games of the series and get out of town today 5-1 the final score. The Twins had won 2 games on the road this year coming in, and they win 2 out of 3 in the series.
Yeah, their 3rd series win of the year, 2 coming from Cleveland. The other one was against the Angels.
Tyler Duffy gets his first win. Twins leave town 10-26. Trevor Bauer, tough luck loser. He's 3-1, and the Indians fall back to 500 at 17-17 on the year. Frustrating, disappointing. Use just about any adjective you want, and it fits over this series against Minnesota for the Indians. Hey, you know what, Rick, too? Throw out with the Twins record and where they sit in the standings. It goes back to you've got to win in the Central Division, and they've done a really good job for the most part of playing in the division, but they can't beat this team.
Minnesota has their number. They had them last year. That's their 15th win out of their last 23 games played against Cleveland. So for whatever it is, they don't have any other wins in the Central Division, but they do against the Indians.
Well, that's going to wrap things up from Progressive Field. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're back tomorrow night as the Indians open up a interleague series with the Cincinnati Reds. For Rick Manning, Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Indians Live next.